You're listening to a Bammsters podcast. Go listen to something else.
And it's another episode of Bammsters Podcast Rated R. As usual, my name is G, and with me today I think I have a grid breather and an android.
Take me to your leader.
That's more of a Dalek, slightly less angry though. So G, as usual, your name is G. That's interesting.
Yep, and I guess this time there's more of us. Apologies, last time we only had Draconus, because literally everybody else were locked up, working somewhere, stuck underneath an engine or inside a fuel tank or flipping burgers.
Yeah, or engines hitting you on the way down onto the workshop floor. Yeah, lots of fun, lots of fun.
Well, I'm just hoping the person who was in the fuel tank wasn't also flipping burgers at the same time.
It's called McDonalds. Okay, so we have a bit of news for you, the usual stuff, and then later on we'll be talking about the PS4 Pro, which is coming out, has come out, about to come out. Apparently it's a big deal, and it's not a very big deal depending on what news sites you read. And that's literally whether you read Upload VR, Financial Times, The Sun, anything. Everybody are talking about it, but people don't seem to be able to agree on it. So we figured we would sit here in a group and not agree on it either.
Financial Times and The Sun, you mean all those very techie newspapers?
Very techie. But I'm not kidding you. Go out there. Newspapers you will never relate to, the whole gaming thing to them. They are talking about it too, so hey.
Well, I guess now that we have the US election behind us, there's nothing to talk about, so they have to do something.
Yeah, for the sake of Draconus, let's not go there.
Okay, well, I hear you two are quite excited about some silly thing happening.
Am I silly, or the thing is silly?
The thing is silly.
Do elaborate.
Well, something about Paragon and new maps, or something silly of that sort.
I actually included this for Bamm's sake. There's a new Paragon map coming December 6th.
Yay, Paragon app!
Yeah, there's a Paragon map coming out December 6th. It's smaller, it's more compact, and because of this, they're removing travel mode from Paragon. So anybody who plays the game will know that there's that whole thing, suddenly you start running. Some of the gamers are complaining about it, and Epic is taking it away, so now they have to make the map smaller, about 30% smaller. They're making it asymmetrical compared to the new one, so right and left lane will not work the same way. One is considered a safe lane, one is considered not safe. It's interesting. If you play Paragon, definitely go check it out.
And if not, like myself, then, well, who cares?
Feel free to ignore.
Yeah, but Grit, you don't play games at all, dude. You can't really say that about Paragon, bro. Paragon's new life. Paragon is new dust, bro.
Well, considering where it's left off, that's not saying much.
Dude, Dust was the best game since games were fucking invented, Sunshine. Yeah.
The vision of Dust was. I can agree on that.
I think that's one of those, it'll just go back and forward whether Dust was good or not. Let's cut it off there. Sorry, guys. I know people like to hate on Dust, or like Dust, or hate to like Dust.
So is that basically all that's happening in Paragon? Just one silly new map and people not being able to run anymore?
No, they're making various other changes. Like every week there's a new patch, and I guess they're releasing a new hero called Crunch, who likes to punch. Yeah, that's Epic's joke, not mine.
Would that be Captain Crunch?
I don't know if he's a captain. He's big and he likes to punch. That's all we know.
Okay. Well, if you ever see him using a whistle by a public payphone, we will know.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a very old joke. You won't get that unless you have memories from stuff that was news in the 70s. Go look it up.
Ah, okay. Now I think I know what you're referring to. Was that in a Captain Crunch box? I just remember it was in cereals. Well, trying to jump back to gaming. One thing that I've noticed is coming up a lot last month or so. I don't know if it's news. The Internet Gaming Database site, or IGDB, is really starting to take off. And I've been kind of following it, and they are getting pretty good at tracking games. And it's kind of one of those things. It's like Internet Movie Database, IMDb, only for games and gaming events, and they are clearly ripping off IMDb. But for people who like games, like to play games, it's definitely worth checking out.
That sounds interesting, but what kind of things are going to be happening there? Is this going to be community-led? Is this going to be reviewer-led?
A little bit of both. They will link to reviews and stuff, news for the games, news for actors, like mocap actors, voice actors, etc. but also reviews and comments by the community. So you can go there, register, make your own reviews of games, make your own comments on them, score them, and then the website will show how people go to the site, score games. Again, pretty much the same as IMDb, but laid out differently and more centered around games.
Okay, that's interesting, because IMDb already lists games with voice actors.
Oh yeah, the moment there's an actor that's identifiable in a game, IMDb will cover it, but outside of that they won't. So this is, it's more pure, it's more just for gaming, as opposed to IMDb is now for everything. Radio plays, theater plays, you name it, it's on there.
I wonder if this will actually help me find a game to play, because IMDb I tend to use when I have a specific name in mind. I don't use it to find new things to watch.
Well, all I can say is go there and check it out. They have listings, they showcase games. Yeah, www.igdb.com, and we'll provide a link on the website as well.
Yeah, it's always difficult with those 4-letter names. You can never remember them.
Yep.
So this will probably be good for indies as well.
That's generally the idea. If you're an indie dev out there, go there, register your game. It's free to do, and it makes sense, so your game is at least showing up on websites. The same if you're a voice actor, if you're a mocap actor, go there, register yourself. Go and fill in information about the work you've done, about yourself, all those things that a lot of gamers actually do like to hear about. Who are you? What are you doing? Apparently developers will also track. So yeah, definitely if you're not in a AAA production, your game might not be showing up there. Go and help them a little bit. Go and help yourself at the same time.
Well, I'll go and have a look. Who knows, maybe if they actually have a good search option, I might actually find some things to play. Unlike IMDb, that's never helped me to find things to watch.
Yeah, I'm with you. I don't use IMDb for that either. It's more just to look up details about actors and stuff.
Well, talking about gaming databases, McDonald's are launching a new burger, it seems. Very odd one.
Is this where I should ask how that relates to gaming?
Or you can just leave that open and ask about the burger.
Right. I don't know what the hell a vegetarian is talking about fucking hamburgers for, but you guys are freaking making paint peel off the walls. Can we please get this chat back onto games and PS4s and Xbox Ones, and how the PS4's not going to produce native 4K even though everyone says it will be, and it won't be, and talk about stuff like that, please, because, oh my good God, I think I nearly fell asleep.
Oh, poor Bamm doesn't like burgers.
Oh, no, don't get me wrong. I love me some Mackie D's or some Burger King, some BK action, but my good God, guys, Jesus Christ. Talk about boring. Fucking hell.
Well, Bamm, you're going to love this one then. This new burger at McDonald's is apparently a Nutella burger, which is basically a bun filled with a whole lot of chocolate.
Yeah, I don't care. Talk about games, please. I don't want to. I'm fat enough. I don't need to get fatter. Talk about games, please, guys. Please. Yeah, go on. Gee, I'm pretty sure you've got some interesting games. We're busy playing a beta called Steep right now from Ubisoft. That's a pretty cool game.
Well, I don't actually have anything about Steep except they pissed me off by putting a copyright claim on a video, or flagged it for copyright thing.
Well, let me tell you about Steep then. It actually reminds me of a game called SSX Tricky that I used to play when I was just a little lad. It actually got me into snowboarding as we speak. So, yeah, it's a good game. I enjoy it. It makes you feel like you're floating almost. I don't know how to describe it, but you feel like you're floating. And I really didn't think a video game could do that, but yep, it can.
Well, Bamm, I think a month ago I put a game key in your inbox for a similar game on the PS4. And I see that you haven't used it yet, so go check out... Oh, what the hell was that other game? Can't remember, but it's in your inbox somewhere.
Yeah. GG, you remember? Bamm is cannibal? Oh, good God, that's going to open a can of worms. Bamm is a Neanderthal. He don't know how computer thingies workers.
Bamm doesn't even have a computer, to be honest.
Nope, I'm actually on my phone. So guys, if you're hearing some horrible feedback or some horrible noises, I'm actually speaking through you guys on an Android-y type phone bubble thing.
Yeah, if you want to see the actual view vision of a home office, that'll be Bamm at the moment, talking into his phone while viewing note documents on his PlayStation.
Well, think about it this way, right? Yeah? I've still got my Note 7. It hasn't gone pop on me yet, so it might go pop now and burn the place down and end in a horrible fire. Pyrex will be happy.
Well, you never know. Maybe the PlayStation 4 Pros will start exploding as well.
Well, at least when Bamm's apartment burns down, we're gonna say it's the Note 7. Don't worry. No, Bamm, I think we do have, just in the news segment, we have one more gaming-related item. I see Grit's taking some notes about the HTC Vive, although I don't see how the heck that's news.
Well, it's not Vive itself. Vive has obviously been out for, well, I guess what would be ages and ages in the gaming world. But, well, with the HTC Vive, same as the Oculus, same as the PSVR, same as with most of the headsets at the moment, you're pretty much tied down, literally, with cables. And no matter what you do, eventually you end up tripping over something, or ripping a cable, or pulling your PlayStation out of the cabinet and just making a mess of the whole place. Well, there's a solution for that now, it seems.
Yeah, put a laptop on your back.
Well, you could laptop on your back, yeah, but that will have to be one of the handful of laptops that actually support the Oculus, which are pretty heavy and get quite hot in themselves. Not something I'd want on my back. But no, actually, a third-party company who's basically partnering up with HTC and Steam, I guess, now have a wireless solution for the HTC Vive, and it's launching pretty soon. It's going to be $220, so that's on top of the millions and millions you spend on the headset and the computer. So not too bad, I guess. Basically, you strap a battery onto your head, you strap some receiver, whatever, and no more cables.
Wait. So you're telling me, Grit, that you can't be bothered sitting down using a VR headset, but you'd much rather have heavy batteries on your head and back, so you get neck fatigue, neck strain, back pain, tired, playing a video game, standing up, running around with a hot sweaty thing on your back. These people need to learn to sit on a fucking chair and sit down. Maybe that would help? Cables aren't an issue, bro.
Bamm, didn't we just conclude that you're a fat fuck? Didn't you need to, stand up a little bit, move a little bit, get hot?
I run to work every day. I don't need to freaking run when I'm playing video games. Video games meant to be chilling out, relaxing, eating pizza, Dorito chips, and Mountain Dew. Yeah? I don't need to be fucking standing up and burning off the extra calories I'm ingesting. No, sod that.
Bam, just because you live in a neighborhood and work in an even worse one is no excuse for other people not exercising with their VR headset.
I won't stand for that. I live in a lovely neighborhood, and I work at a fucking awesome place. Yeah? I won't stand for that. It's brilliant. I love it.
Well, just a note, if I may, jumping in with a bit of tech details. If I remember correctly, you will need about something like 6.4 gigabit connection wireless. Great. Are we standing in front of a microwave here?
No, definitely not. The microwave will be on top, so it'll slightly miss you and only fry your forehead.
Oh, goody.
Oh, lovely. So I'm going to get a fucking lobotomy. Lovely, yes. And I have yes, every afternoon for my lunch, I feed the swans. Yes. Tell me of some place that you can work nearby that you can feed swans at. Yeah? That's how good my neighborhood is.
That's some euphemism for masturbating, right?
I must admit, Bam, that Swans is not the catchiest name for a street gang.
Don't know about you, bro, but that's the coolest, illest, sickest, gangster lean street name ever, bro.
In any case, putting aside really lazy people like Bam who refuse to stand up while gaming, all of the people out there who actually stand up for some of the VR games, obviously if you need to sit down in the game, then by all means sit down, but if you're running around with a gun, then get up, you lazy whatever you are. Put on your wireless accessory for the Vive and actually stand without tripping over cables.
It just might be me, but the cable actually served a purpose. Play first-person shooter in VR, you just keep shooting the guy on the right-hand side, he keeps turning around and around, and sooner or later he chokes himself out.
Well, they did say video games make you stupid. I suppose this is kind of proof that the video games are going to make you stupid.
Wait, are you saying that some gamers have found a way to go beyond the fourth wall in the VR games and actually get people to choke themselves in real life?
No, Greg, it's just anybody who's playing a first-person shooter VR thing will probably sooner or later realize that if the other person's standing on one of those treadmills, where you have full movement, and you keep shooting them on the right-hand side, which is the dominant side for most people, it's a little bit of a motor psychology thing. Somebody who gets attention on the right-hand side will turn right. They won't just turn their head. Whereas on the left side, you're more likely to ignore it. It's weird. So if you can keep doing that, people will stand there on this treadmill, turning around. I fully expect you could get a person to tangle themselves into cables.
Which is exactly what I was saying. If people realize this, then in-game trolls can actually get you to choke on some cables outside of the game, which is a wonderful way of getting you distracted for, I don't know, 20 seconds or so while they walk up and shoot you in the head.
Yeah, I mean, in-game VR trolls are already fondling women in VR, so but it's happening.
Yeah, I've seen some reaction videos to that, and the internet is full of complete idiots.
Grit, have you actually been on the internet? The internet is full of idiots, mate. In fact, I wager about 98%, or actually no, 99.99% of the internet is full of idiots. We make a podcast for idiots.
All I can say, based on the people currently in this recording, that at least 30% of the internet are complete idiots.
There you go, G, he gave you a compliment.
Yeah, I'm just thinking Grit needs to take math lessons, but okay.
Okay, how about we get to gaming, as
Yeah.
fun as this banter might be.
Should we say that's news for today, and then we'll be right back talking about the PS4 Pro?
Yeah. Just before we go to the PS4 Pro, I'd just like to add about this HTC Vive wireless option. It's made by a company called TPcast. If you're looking for them, there will obviously be a link in our article. It's apparently completely sold out for pre-orders in China, but will be going up for pre-orders in the rest of the world within days. So, $220, and prepare a very fast clicking mouse.
This ad spot can be yours for just $3 an episode. Yeah, really. That's all we can afford to pay you.
Well, I guess that leaves us no choice but to move on to our big long rant or praise or both or neither of their PS4 Pro, which is basically the newest revision of PlayStation from Sony that brings us not one slot in the design, but two slots. That is, actual physical slots going across the device.
Yeah, I'm not impressed. I really wanted PlayStation to pull this one out the hat and blow Xbox into the water again. Turns out, no, they didn't. Turns out, Xbox is going to capitalize on this one, and us PS4 fanboys are going to lift in the dust. Well done, PlayStation. Well done, Sony. Yay.
Well, I'm not necessarily agreeing with you on that one, because it does seem to have a pretty high rate of pre-orders. People are buying it, and it's out, half a year before we'll see the next Xbox. So it's going to get some traction no matter what.
Yeah, it's not going to get as much traction as the original PS4, mate. And to be brutally honest, developers develop for the lowest common denominator. Don't get me wrong, PS4 is a pretty good system, but they're going to be developing for the Xbox. You know, the Xbox's lowest common denominator right now. And it's going to be a crying shame because, you know, the new Xbox that's coming out, that Scorpio thing, just the stats on it, just from what it looks like, are just fucking awe-inspiring. You know, I'm dumbstruck. And Sony are going to launch this half-baited, weak-piss attempt at what? How long has the PlayStation 4 been out now, G? 3 years?
Yeah, something like 3 years.
So basically, what they're going to do in 3 years? Launch another console that's another half-baked attempt at crushing Xbox. This is what makes the PS4 the beast currently, is that it crushed the competition. Now it's not going to. So I'm probably going to be buying an Xbox Awesome soon. So yeah.
Nah, I'm going to stay with this. You're right. Probably in about 2 years even, we might see a PS5. It's one of those Sony doesn't want to talk about, and they kind of say things and don't say things and leak things and don't leak things about. But this thing, it's just meant to be a PS4. It's not meant to be competing against Scorpio. It's not meant to be anything fantastic. And then I would expect a PS5 that's fully able to meet whatever Microsoft have at that time.
No, look, you've got a point, right? I'm probably going to be wrong, and I fully admit, and I'm fully willing to accept the fact that I'm wrong 9 times out of 10, right? But what developers say and what actually happens are two different freaking biscuits, right? We don't get to eat the delicious one, we get the crappy oatmeal one, yeah? They say it's going to be this, they say it's going to be that, and whatever have you. Bullshit. Case in point, look at the Xbox, right? When it first launched, it said games be launching in 1080p, awesome, blah, blah, blah. Only produces 960. And that's, I think, its highest FPS rate. These guys are now saying the PS4 on certain games, because of coding, bullshit, right, can render in 4K native. I'm like, no, fuck off, dickhead. It's going to upscale to 4K. It's not going to be 4K native. And 9 times out of 10, okay, maybe not 9 times out of 10, but us poor bastards can't even afford a 4K bloody TV. Maybe I should work a little bit harder. Maybe I could afford a 4K TV and a PS4 Pro 4K. I don't know. It's It's one of those, G. It's one of those. Speaking of the devil, an American has joined us. Yay!
Ooh.
All this blathering on about consoles, just get a PC. You can run at whatever resolution you want.
Shut up, you Donald Trump supporter.
Bamm just said he can't afford a television. How is he supposed to afford a PC?
He's supposed to work harder.
Fucking Donald Trump. Fucking Donald Trump. Stop Donald Trump supporter. Boo!
Well, there goes our best attempt at avoiding world politics.
Okay, well, can we jump into that one? Because Bamm kind of touches on one of the topics that come up and gone away and come up again repeatedly, which is it 4K? Is it not 4K? And it's 4K. Sorry, Bamm. If you look at, Call of Duty and a few other games, I think Firewatch as well, they are rendering at a lower resolution and then upscaling to 4K. They're not rendering at 1080. So Firewatch, for example, will render at 1440p and then upscale that to 4K, which is higher than 1080p. And COD will render at 1600 something and upscale that to 4K. And they'll both include high definition range, so you get more colors, blah blah blah. And Firewatch will even render the HUD, so the basic things, in 4K. So that's an upscale, and Bamm's correct, they're upscaling. But who the hell gives a fuck about Call of Duty except for Draconus, but he's a PC player.
No, hang on a second. Just about this upscaling stuff. Does that mean that a lot of at least the launch PS4 Pro games will look fuzzy on a 4K TV?
Not really, because unless you're sitting really close to your TV, you won't see it. Trust me.
Is this for most people's eyes, or eyes like my own, where we notice every single small detail?
If you have a 4K at 60 inches and you are about a meter away, you might be able to see it. If you have normal vision, or less than a meter's distance.
Okay, but we are still talking about, let's call it a bit higher than HD, smeared over way more pixels than it was intended for.
Yes, and they're using pretty good upscalers. It's not the old style upscalers, so it's not going to look bad, and it is going to look better than 1080p. But then you have games like Smite, Elder Scrolls Online, Horizon Zero Dawn. They will use 4K. They are rendering in 4K.
Let's just hope they give us more than 15 or 20 frames per second.
Smite will run at 60 frames per second. Forma 8 and a few others as well.
Yeah, but that's just what they're promising. Didn't you hear about some games that have been getting some terrible performance on the PlayStation 4 Pro? Excuse me, I have to call it Neo. I hate this actual name. The code name is much cooler.
Yeah, there's been some words out about games that are they're actually not able to run at whatever they claim they're running at. The big one that's come up is The Last of Us Remastered. There's various reasons for that. So, The Last of Us Remastered, if you run it on a base PS4, it's locked to 60 frames. It will not drop under 60. That's just how it's programmed. But if you run it on a PS4 Pro, it will, because it's now rendering at 4K. 4K checkerboard, but 4K. And it's not able to pull off 60 frames per second constantly, which means it's actually not meeting the requirements from Sony, because Sony's tech documents say a game has to perform as well on the Pro as on a base PS4. And The Last of Us Remastered doesn't do that. It drops below 60 frames per second.
So we're basically talking about people like poor Bamm, who has to work overtime and double hours, and people like Draconus, who need to sell their overpriced PC just to buy a new console that they will be happy with anyway. And then they have their existing games, which they really enjoyed on the PS4, and they stick them in the PS4 Pro, and they actually get a worse performance after spending, I don't know, new PlayStation, maybe a new controller just for the fun, new 4K television, maybe really comfy sofa. So we're looking at upwards of $1,000, maybe even $2,000, and getting worse performance. Yeah.
Just buy a PC already.
Draconus, yes, just buy a PC, except that requires running Windows. I don't want that.
No, put aside the Windows. Yeah, just a PC. So instead of buying a new console every 3 years, you have to upgrade your PC every 9 months? That makes way more sense.
If you build it right, you don't have to upgrade it that often.
Let me jump in here. If you build the PC right, you'll be paying what? $3,000? Yeah? So I'd much rather spend $3,000 doing something else, if you know what I mean. Beer, for example. Beer's good.
I'm going to assume you mean pounds, because we all live in this windy, rainy island, apart from the people who don't, but who cares about them. So you're going to spend $3,000 on beer.
Well, due to Brexit, yes, £3,000 might buy me a pint of beer.
Okay, well, that will have to be really good beer. But back to the point. Consoles are where we are, and ignore people like Draconus, who obviously have no idea what they're about.
If you build a PC correctly, then you can make it last anywhere from 3 to 5 years at least, if not longer. That's some that with only a few upgrades here and there, maybe more memory or a video card.
Wouldn't a video card be half the price of the PC?
That really depends on the video card and when you buy it. Yeah, typically that's going to be probably the most expensive component.
But we're still talking about spending way more money for the same time period as the lifespan of a console.
And you get far more performance and many more options.
Okay, well, I'm going to stop right there. More performance from a game I can play on the PS4 at 60 frames a second, online, 64 people in a match. Battlefield 1 looks pretty damn sexy to me online, and I get to play with, what was it, the PS4 count versus the PC count on Battlefield 1? What was it, like 50,000 PS4 players and something like, 20,000 PC players? Yeah, I think the PC market is definitely the way to go.
Like I said, we have more options on the PC. We're not just locked into a few games.
Oh, no, I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that is like a given, but a game's a game, you know? Not everything's about performance and graphics. What about the game play? A lot of people seem to be going towards, my PC's got 120 hertz, blah, 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 frames per second, meow, 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 give me more graphics, lovely, delicious, Wait, hang on. It's still the same bloody game, and I can still play it on PS4 with all my mates and do things with them on the game. Shoot things, I'm talking about, not other things.
Unless you try to play it on a PS4 Pro, and then it just doesn't work as well as you expect.
Well, in Bamm's example, Battlefield 1, that's actually have a higher frame rate, more stable frame rate, and more resolution. Yay, more pretty things that Bamm doesn't want. And the visual assets are also a better quality. The textures are a little bit higher resolution as well. So no, Battlefield 1, you get better frame rate, it is more stable. And Greg, to the point that you tried to make 6 minutes ago, yeah, you end up spending a lot of money if you want to upgrade everything. But the damn thing is what? $3.99, $4.99, $3.99, depending on where you are, what currency, etc. And I think they found 5 games that are performing worse. So let's not go completely berserk. There's 30 games, something like that are getting the treatment for the PS4 Pro at launch. And 5 of them are showing issues, one of them quite significantly, the others are just minor things.
Well, yeah, that makes sense. I mean, this can't be a complete failure, and in the end it is. Well, depends who you ask, but let's say somewhere between insignificant and quite a significant hardware upgrade, with, I'm sure, some software updates and sneaky things, and many things will get down the line. I mean, if you think back to how the original PS4 was at launch, half the features we have today weren't even there yet.
Yeah, he's right there. You're right there, dude. I wouldn't disagree with you there.
I guess if I were to sell this to Bamm, I would point out, yeah, Battlefield will have a improved and more stable frame rate Paragon. So no Bamm likes to play. Still 1080p, it doesn't actually scale up to 4K, so you'll have to use your TV's upscale if you have a 4K TV, but it promises to render at 60 frames per second, and that game actually looks a lot better at 60 frames per second. It's visually nicer, it's more smooth. There's improvements there. But besides that, they just went berserk on that one and added, volumetric effects and light shafts and fogs and everything they could throw at it, just, to make it look prettier. So it looks nicer, and yeah, at 60 frames per second, it's easier to aim. So I don't know if that's worth replacing a PlayStation 4, but if somebody's going to buy one anyway, the Pro isn't bad if you play these games.
Well, a couple of things there. Borrowing a bit from the insane world of PC gamers, where every single piece of hardware somehow contributes to your online lag and your inability to hit somebody else first. Aiming at 60 frames per second, will we start hitting the lag point of the Bluetooth controller?
Now you're making me do math. I hate you.
Well, while you do math, I'll touch on another point, and this is thinking back a couple of minutes. Battlefield 1 and on the complete opposite side of the scale, Call of Duty. With these 4K abilities now and better rendering and whatever they're going to have, will we now have 4K teabagging?
That's one for Bamm. I don't teabag.
Bullshit, you don't teabag. I've seen you teabag many a time.
Yeah, but that was in Dust, and people who played Dust deserved it.
I won't disagree with you there. Well, if you're going to teabag someone in 4K, at least I'll get a 4K view of all your deliciousness being plopped straight on their mouth parts.
So are we basically confirming there are new 4K resources in these games for people's genitals?
Well, Grit, I don't know what you think of when you think of 4K, but I wasn't necessarily thinking of teabagging or genitals. I was thinking about how delicious things would look, finally.
Let's hope you didn't mean the genitals, even though some people swing that way, and I have nothing against you.
Okay, so we're talking a lot, and I think let's get away from genitals. Just saying. One of the things we haven't really touched on is, what if you just have a 1080p TV? What if you don't go out and upgrade anything except the PlayStation to a PlayStation Pro or Neo? Do you get anything out of it? Yes, a lot of games are actually coming out and saying they will add improvements in various ways. Amongst these release ones, the upgraded ones. I like one of Horizon Zero Dawn. They will actually still render the fucking game at 4K. They're still rendering it as if you have a 4K TV, but then use Supersamplaing to downscale it. So you get probably the best anti-aliasing. That's one of those PC master race words that you can get. It'll be as pretty as they can pretty much get it at 1080p. So that's kind of an interesting way. So Bamm complained they'll be upscaling. No, games will actually be downscaling a lot.
Touching on people not buying a new 4K TV or not having one to start with, let's go to an even smaller screen. How about the PSVR? Will this actually benefit?
Yeah. So you have twice the GPU power in a Pro compared to the base one. 2.3 times, I think people calculate it as if we're getting really mathematical, but overhead and loss and blah blah blah, yeah, it's about twice the power. Several games will actually be upgrading for it, like BatteZone, Drive Club, Res Infinite, Rigs. So they can take advantage of it, they do take advantage of it. I like the comment from, what the hell was that, Upload VR. They came out and said, quite specifically, Valkyrie could benefit from a Pro treatment, but isn't getting it, at least so far. CCP hasn't said anything. And I guess anybody who tried it on the PSVR, there's some jaggies, let's put it that way. It's not as pretty as it possibly could be. And that one could probably help getting it on PS4 Pro.
Well, even so, just stepping into Bamm's fangirl boots for a moment, Valkyrie is still one of the, if not the highest praised PSVR games out there.
I don't know what you're talking about. Valkyrie is the only PS4 game anyone ever needs, apart from Paragon. I'm going to be getting me a VR headset for the Christmases, and I will be getting me some Valkyrie deliciousness, and then I'll have to make a choice, Valkyrie or Paragon. So I'm going to be splitting my time between the two. And I'll tell you right now, I'm after 3 people. 1-5, Quantum Delta, and that freaking Game Master always kills me. I want to find him, and I want to shoot him in the face.
Well, surely you want to shoot the devs as well.
Well, I can't shoot all the devs. I've shot 2. I've got like 3 on my wall of Bamm shame, but then I think I'm on like 16 other devs' walls of shame. So yeah, I need to rectify that KD ratio quickly.
KD, isn't that a dev to Bamm ratio?
Hell yes, dev to Bamm ratio needs to be rectified quickly.
Okay, well, Bamm, do what Upload VR kind of says, and next time you're in Newcastle, go and kick the devs, tell them, give it a Pro treatment.
Well, believe it or not, the devs are actually holding not the devs, but the players and the gamers of Valkyrie, PC, PS4, HTC, whatever, and the old, what's the other one? The Oculus guys, right? We're all going to a pub near CCP Newcastle, and they're all going to have drinks. I think it's on the 11th of November, 15th, thereabouts. Sadly, I won't be attending because I'm in frickin' Newbury building engines. So, yeah, that's a thing. So if you guys, want to get along and go drink with the actual developers and have a chat and a chin wag and a good old time with normal people, trust me, they're actually quite normal people, apart from Siggy. He's a bit strange, but we love Siggy anyway. Go along, get involved. It's on the Twitters by a guy called General Stargazer. I think he's sorting it out, I'm not sure. I'll have to get the things to the base of the description for you, G. So if anyone wants to go along and say hi to the devs and drink some beer with these crazy cats, look in the description below and get yourselves to Newcastle and go drinking. It's a lot of fun. It really is a lot of fun.
Yeah, I just wanted to jump in and say, don't cross the street if you haven't yet taken your VR headset off. That could be dangerous.
Okay, drinking tips from Bamm and Grit. I never thought I would hear it.
Well, drinking tips from Bamm. Not so much Grit. Grit doesn't drink, he doesn't eat meat, and he doesn't play video games, so, yeah.
Coming from the other side of the scale, Bamm, I do drink because it is enjoyable once in a while. Unlike Bamm, I don't feel the need to take a beer bath every day and soak myself down with bacon.
You don't live, bro. You don't live.
Weren't we supposed to talk about PS4s and not bacon baths?
Well, it could be 4K bacon. Anyway, talking about PSVR and PlayStation Pro, I see Drive Club VR is one of the games that's going to be patched up for the PS4 Pro, which is wonderful. That means people can vomit with much prettier graphics.
Yeah, I would actually hope they would address that, particularly in a Pro version, because part of the issue was lag, so-called input lag. That should be easier to deal with on a Pro, But you're right, people have really been complaining about vomiting in that one. They've also been complaining about vomiting from Valkyrie, so it's not the only one, and I would be impressed if nobody vomited playing rigs.
Yeah, that's still one that I'll probably pick up whenever I step into the PSVR world, because despite it being an arena-type game, which I generally despise, this one actually looks quite fun.
And no, mine is the only one that I've tried that looks good and interesting to me. It's been BatteZone VR, and I actually looked up what they're doing with that one. They're increasing the rendering resolution like ridiculously. It'll be rendering at something like 1890, so almost 2K, almost 4K, and then supersampling that. And that has to do with the warping that they're doing with people who know PSVR and the other VR headset. You render a flat picture, then you warp it, and then the lens in the headset warps it back and it fits your eye. So the higher resolution they have before warping it, the better they can do it, because the warping stretches the pixels, etc. So that's basically what they're doing. They're just increasing the render resolution ridiculously and then adding a bit of lighting. But some of the other games will actually add, better graphics. I think Bound is doubling the texture sizes. So they're taking advantage of the Pro, and hey, I think if I was getting a PSVR, I would also go for PS4 Pro, just to be sure that I get the best option.
I wonder if at some point the PSVR, I guess, API or SDK or whatever will be advanced enough for these game developers to start making things similar to what Oculus are pushing with their most advanced dev kits, or whatever you want to call them. Things like, I don't remember the names for these technologies, but things like rendering a larger image than is actually displayed on the headset, and then being able to let people move their heads around a bit without having to render the whole thing again. So basically sort of a predictive rendering for smaller head movements, which could make games a lot more stable and give them a higher frame rate eventually.
No idea, sorry. I haven't been following the dev announcements for PSVR that closely.
Well, I haven't either, to be honest, but based on some of the changes games are coming out with that you're talking about, it doesn't look like anybody's doing anything similar to this. So it's possible that PSVR itself doesn't support such rendering yet, but maybe this will be one of the features that we get later down the line with PSVR and PS4 Pro.
Yeah, I know from dev talks that the hardware is less. It's not quite as good as the Vive and the Oculus, but they are taking a lot of software steps to get around that. So Sony's doing a lot of tricks. There's a lot of things in the API to support those tricks. No, I don't want to go into details because then it gets really boring. But there's a lot of software tricks being done already. So I wouldn't be surprised if most of the things that we've heard Oculus, Vive, etc. talk about, that Sony's also doing either the same or similar things. But before we wrap this one up, we're coming up on an hour of recording already, and there was one more thing that I noticed. This is one of those, I haven't actually seen it in the news. Might be I just missed it. But I opened the Remote Play app the other day, and there's a 1080 version inside of it. But when you choose it, it says it needs a CUH 7000 series PS4, which is the technical name for a PS4 Pro. So it seems that the built-in hardware recording device inside the PS4 Pro can actually do 1080, which might mean we can stream and record in 1080 from the PS4.
And this will probably be our biggest motivation to get Bamm to buy a PS4 Pro, because we want those native 1080 recordings for our YouTube version.
Yeah, I don't think he agrees.
He may have fainted.
Anyways, that's pretty much all I had. I don't know. Is there anything else we missed or we didn't cover with the PS4 Pro?
Well, I don't think there's much to cover at the moment, really. We've probably discussed everything we need to. Yeah?
Well, yeah, no, we don't need to cover anything else, guys. I think we've discussed the software concerns, the hardware concerns, or all the pros and cons about all the bits and pieces. Various opinions about bacon baths and Nutella butter, burgers rather, and the design looks pretty ambiguous. So, yeah, go PS4 Pro. I really wish they'd keep their name sometimes. The Pro is such a shit name. Morpheus is a much better name for the PSVR, and Neo is a much better name for the PS Pro. Good lord.
Well, you do know the Xbox Scorpion will not come out as Xbox Scorpion. It'll probably be something as boring as Xbox One and a bit, or Xbox One Pro, or whatever.
Yeah, Xbox 760.
Xbox One Plus. That's what I'm betting on.
That's 720, you git.
You missed the point, but never mind.
Okay, well, I guess we'll leave it there. Draconus, do you have anything you want to say from the PC Master Races?
The quiet disdain from a PC Master Racer. Yeah.
Okay, that's all we have for this episode. Sorry about all the Califrexit and everything. This was G, and talk to you another time.
And this is Groot, signing off as well. Go buy a PS4 Pro, don't buy a PS4 Pro, get into PSVR, don't get into PSVR. Just don't feed street gangs called swans, please.
Well, I'll tell you what, the way those things come at you, you think they are a freaking gang or something. Right, well, guys, from me, Bamm Havoc, much love, sexy poke to all of you beautiful people out there, and please go forth and eat much bacon and drink many beers. Thank you very much, guys. From me, bye!